So today's job is replacing the speakers in the back of this Saab 9.3 convertible. This is a pre-facelift 2006 Saab 9.3 convertible, but this procedure is exactly the same for the facelift version as well. This is not straightforward because we basically need to completely disassemble the back of this car to get to these speakers, unfortunately. So that involves the removal of the seat in its entirety and then the removal of the side panels here. So let's get started. So the first thing that you want to do is move the seats as far forward as possible. This gives you the maximum amount of room to play with. Then the next thing to do is to remove the back headrests. You do that by sticking your hand underneath and pushing the button in, which locks the metal rods in place. And just place them in the front of the car, out of the way. And now you have access to the torque screws on the top here, and these are Torque T40 screws. So once you've done this, what you need to do is give the seat a good hard pull towards the front of the car. There we go. Just create some slack on the seat belts. Now we've got this far, we need to get rid of this backrest out of the way, but because it's still attached by the seat belts, that's not particularly easy. So we're going to pop it up on the back of the car, but remember that there are these big sharp metal parts on it, so protect the back of your car and then pop the back of the seat up on the top. These are just cushions from my garden furniture set. So you can actually have a good look at the other audio options available to you, because you've got two spaces for 6x9s down here, and then you have the hole in the back in the center for a 10-inch sub if you want to go down that route as well. But that's not what we're doing today. I actually have a separate video if you want to see what it's like to install a sub on my channel, but we're going to continue with this. So the next thing that we need to do is remove the base of the seat. And to do that, there are two screws underneath the edges. Once you've removed the screws, the only thing holding the seat in place are clips underneath, the same as the back of the backrest. So we just give it a good yank up and you'll be able to lift it. Like so, and then this part just comes out. We'll just take this out of the car and put it somewhere. So now with the car looking a little bit more bare, we can take off these sides. So the first thing that we need to do to remove the sides is using a plastic tool. Just pop it in behind the plastic grill of the speaker and it just pops off like that. And then you'll find there are two screws, and you need to just take them out. So with these two screws out, they were actually the only two screws which hold this bit in. Now this part consists of all of this door card here and the top part here, including this panel which pushes out. So you're removing all of this, and it goes down all the way down to the bottom of the door where there's a clip. So there's a clip right down here, and we want to basically pull that up, and that's going to release the majority of it. And there we go, it comes off like that. And just pop it down, and immediately we have access to the speaker here. And as you can see, it's held on with 4 screws, which uses exactly the same screwdriver part as you did to use to take the side off. The speaker's held on with the clip here, so we just need to lift that off. Like so, and then go about undoing the 4 screws that are holding it in place. Just pop the screws there for safekeeping, and then we've got the speaker off. So we're going to be replacing it with these nice Pioneer speakers. Now you'll notice that any speakers that you buy do not have the standard Saab connector on it, but that doesn't really matter. I'm just going to screw this back up. Now when it comes to the wire, what I suggest you do is pull down the cloth exterior so it allows you to have some cable. And then we're going to snip off the end of the stock speakers, and then expose some copper from both wires, like so. So you've got 2 wires and 2 spades. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach some spade connectors to these wires, and then I'm going to attach them to the speakers on this, and then we're going to go about putting this back together. Right, so let's put this back on. So when putting it back on from this side, if you have a look in here where this clip is, there is a part just here, just down there. That's what you need to clip this clip onto, and this plastic here needs to go underneath the colour here as well. At the same time, down here we need to make sure that all of this remains straight, and the top here needs to go over this rubber lip that's here. So that's how we're going to do this. And then you'll find that the rubber seal that goes along the side will need to be pulled over the plastics again so that everything's flush. So just before you clip it in place, just bring the rubber out gradually so that it covers the plastics, and then give it a bit of a knock, and it should be nice and flush with the rest of the car if you've managed to get it in properly. Might take a few goes to do it. Once you are at this point, you can stick the screws back in and hold it in place. And when we got this far, you can pop the plastic over your nice new speaker. That was one side, now we need to do the other. So we start again with our plastic tool, and we unhook. Pop that down there, and then we need to take the 2 screws out again. Okay, again open the door and start with the bottom. Just put your fingers underneath it and just yank it up, right, so that it pulls out. And then over here as well. Just gently drop this down, and again we have the speaker here, so we'll just take that connector off, and for those of you who don't know where the amp is, amp 1 for Saab 9.3 convertibles, which are pre-facelift, so any between 2003 and 2006, your amp is located here, and this amp drives the front door speakers only. All of the other speakers, these two rears and the ones in the dashboard, are all powered by the entertainment head unit inside the dash. Anyway, so we've unplugged the speaker. Let's unscrew it from the side panel. Just pop those. Put them on the seat. Got my Pioneer speakers. These are two-way speakers. They have built-in tweeters as well, so you're going to get some nice treble coming from behind as well. It really does enhance the sound in the car. And we just screw this back in. Right, so new speakers attached. So going back to the speaker cable again, remember, give yourself some room by pulling the cotton sheath down the wire to give yourself some space, and then snip off the end, and then just strip the wires so that you've got some wire to play with, copper. So now that we've got this far, we're going to move the seat back into the car, but we're not going to lock it in place just yet. I'm going to test that the roof still works, because we've obviously been tampering with the sides here, which do have moving parts for the roof. So I just want to make sure that everything's okay before we start putting things back together. Yep, so everything is working perfect. I'm going to grab our seat again, and noticing on the bottom of it where your clips are, they need to go into the relevant holes on the actual bed of the car. and then we'll pop the screws back in the sides to hold it in place. Let's take my shoes off. Okay, now with this backrest, you need to make sure that you get it as far down as possible, and you'll see the metal clips which need to go into the white clips on the wall. So if you just push it down far enough that they go in, and you know that it's where it needs to be, like so, on both sides, and then you can push it back, and then all that's left to do is pop the screws in the top. Then pop your headrests back in place. And there you go, you've breathed some new life into your Saab 9.3.